Lao Tzu's concept of Wu Wei is a great and profound notion, yet it also sparks much controversy. Some believe Wu Wei is a perfect philosophy of life, helping people achieve happiness and success. Meanwhile, others view it as a negative life philosophy, leading to passivity and stagnation. Because according to Lao Tzu, doing nothing is precisely happiness. So what is Wu Wei in essence? Is it truly a perfect life philosophy or not? Let's explore Lao Tzu. According to Daoism, Wu Wei does not mean doing nothing, but allowing things to happen naturally in harmony with the Tao. Steve Jobs once said a classic line, "The most important thing in life is not what you do, but what you don't do." This statement contains a profound philosophy named Wu Wei, the thought of philosopher Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu believed that those who go with the flow of life know they need no additional strength. According to him, life is like the flow of a river, and most of us cling to the bank, fearing that letting go will sweep us away. At some point, each person must be ready to let go and trust that the river will carry them safely to their destination. Once accustomed to merging with the flow, we begin to look ahead and orient ourselves. In that way, the flow guides your life with the least resistance, helping you make wise decisions and letting things follow their natural course. That is the Tao. The Tao is a way of life, not a deity or religion. Its essence is the path, the journey through life, fitting the terrain and natural rhythms. Any path outside the Tao that is imposed is artificial. Western methods often emphasize conquering rather than harmonizing with natural forces, easily leading to a separation between humans and nature. The Tao sees humans as small, vulnerable beings in the vast universe. And the Tao suggests that to survive best, we need to live in harmony with the natural forces that created us. Going against the Tao is like trying to fly against a strong current. If one fails to realize this, sooner or later, humans will become exhausted, stagnant, and swept away from the natural flow of the Tao. Taoist masters see the entire universe immersed in Tao Te, the energy of the Tao. This primal cosmic energy was once called Tai Shu, Tai Ji, and Tai Yi. It consists of an invisible, formless cosmic element from which all things are born. The concept of Wu Wei in the Tao Te Ching is often misunderstood as doing nothing at all. But in reality, Lao Tzu advises, act as if not acting, and do not do what should not be done. He also wrote that water, though soft and flexible, can flow anywhere. And in large volume, it can erode even rocks and soil. Thus, Wu Wei can be likened to the behavior of water. His concept of Wu Wei is mentioned in many areas we will encounter in the Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu said, Wu Wei Wu Bi Yu Wei. Simply understood, it means, if you feel fine doing nothing, then you should not do anything. Nature already operates in natural cycles. If we interfere with any element, it also means disrupting that cycle. If we do nothing, it ensures that the cycle continues to function normally. This theory is particularly effective when we don't know how to handle a situation. According to Lao Tzu, it's best to do nothing at all. Doing nothing does not mean giving up everything. Wu Wei, or non-action, is not a negative behavior of doing nothing at all. Rather, it is a way of life that brings more benefits than action. By stopping thought and action, we can escape boredom and find a new direction for ourselves. Seeking new value in simplicity and lightness. In life, we often emphasize the role of action while overlooking the benefits of non-action. Typically, people see Yu Wei, meaning doing something is better for oneself. But in reality, we can also minimize bad outcomes through Wu Wei, that is, doing nothing. Many dislike Wu Wei because they believe doing something is positive and forward-looking, while not doing is labeled as negative. Sometimes we fear others will see us as negative or lacking ambition. So we often suppress the thought of not wanting to do anything deeply in our hearts. In reality, reckless actions often lead to far more serious consequences than doing nothing. Inaction is also a form of great wisdom. S. Theory of non-action, let. When witnessing a tiger preying on a deer, if we shoot the tiger to save the deer, we might inadvertently kill the entire litter of tiger cubs waiting for food from their mother. If we help the tiger catch the deer more easily, then we are at fault with the deer. Therefore, letting things unfold naturally is the most correct principle. This theory is truly effective in explaining the need for nature conservation. And the most effective conservation method is non-intervention. Allowing nature to thrive, develop, and follow its own cycle of life and death. It should be known that most problems arise from our own actions. This leads to adversity, making life contentious and unstable. Human nature is inherently restless and energetic, tending to embrace things that bring joy and distraction. But most of us cannot persevere to the end. If a person decides not to overthink, they will avoid getting stuck in problems. Thus, they will experience less worry, agitation, and unease. If a person can control their emotions and does not actively seek out the unusual, they will avoid disasters stemming from complex emotions and unpredictable human hearts. If a person is cautious in choices, avoiding high-risk actions, they will avoid foolish mistakes. Remember, each person's ability to focus is very limited. Once you focus on one thing, it means you will neglect another. Especially in an era of overwhelming and excessive information like today, we find it difficult to choose and focus on a single thing. Thus, we easily lose rationality and clarity. The reason Lao Tzu said humans should practice non-action is because doing nothing is not an easy matter. It requires advanced wisdom. Non-action is even harder to achieve than action. In most situations, we often cannot restrain our inner restlessness and curiosity, always wanting to think about this, do that. But we forget to ask ourselves, why do this, why not do that? Non-action does not mean doing nothing at all, but letting things occur naturally in harmony with the Tao. Therefore, we do what is necessary, but without exceeding limits or acting blindly. This is a state of inner tranquility, acting at the right time, in the right place, which can appear without the effort of will. Non-being. Non-action, non-speech, non-interference. Non-being. 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 Being. Without color, without sound, without form. To our senses. Non-being. It arises from being, then being returns to non-being. Therefore, non-being and being are not opposites but complement each other. Emptiness. free from attachments, free from desire. If the mind is happy, the 7 emotions and 6 desires are not yet completed, the soul will become calm and pure. It seems that the thought of non-action in Taoism is closely related to Buddhism. The thought of non-action in Taoism still exists in the world without contention or pursuit of fame. But when there is, it still accepts and enjoys emptiness. Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism are the 3 major schools of thought that have significantly influenced the spiritual life of Eastern people, including us Vietnamese. Buddhism advocates compassion, Taoism advocates Confucianism uses wisdom to save the world, govern the people, and rescue society. The subject of Confucianism is the gentleman. The object of Taoism is the emperors and kings, while Buddhism only hopes for all beings to attain Buddhahood. Regarding non-action, both Taoist and Buddhist thoughts mention it. There is indeed a fundamental difference in the thought of non-action between the 2 religions. That is the acknowledgement of the original principle by Taoism, unlike the theory of dependent origination, but the way of practicing non-action is the same. Lao Tzu wrote, "When the great Tao is abandoned, benevolence and righteousness also wrote, practice the way of non-action." That is, Lao Tzu believed there is a great power encompassing the world, which is the Tao. The Tao has the strength to spread throughout the universe, influencing the rise and fall of all human lives. Also, the original principle proposed by Lao Tzu is like an omnipotent being controlling the world. That is the theistic principle in most religious doctrines, except Buddhism. Buddha pointed out many divine worlds, but all are governed by the law of cause and effect. So from the Buddhist perspective, gods, devas, humans, asuras, are all just sentient beings. Sentient beings must practice karma to achieve Buddhahood. Buddha said, "I am Buddha, you will be Buddha." That indicates the cause and condition produce the fruit of Buddhahood, achieved through practice. There is no Buddha who controls the Buddhahood of sentient beings. Or in other words, the rise and fall of all human lives, all situations, are determined by the causes and conditions of that life, that situation. This is the atheistic principle of Buddhism. And that is the fundamental difference in thought compared to other religions, including Taoism, which practices the way of non-action. Literally means doing nothing. It means telling us not to do what should not be done, not telling us to be lazy. Emperors and kings see what should not be done and refrain from doing it, that is clarity. But people often argue sophistically, so the great Tao of Lao Tzu is difficult to achieve. Lao Tzu lamented, "When the great Tao is abandoned, benevolence and righteousness appear. When wisdom emerges, the wiser humanity becomes, the more deceit there is." And using rituals to conceal more skillfully, and doing things that should not be done increasingly more. Therefore, he greatly respects rituals. Perhaps it is not the right time to propagate his great doctrine. So he did what he thought should be done and left, letting posterity judge. That is also correct, because he only used non-action to teach how to be a king. Hoping that many wise kings would appear in the difficult fate to happen because few are not self-interested or eager for power. Thanks to Confucian active learning, monarchs are protected by the effective screen of ritual and morality, such as the 3 laws, eye constants, the theory of sun sickness, and Buddha clouds. Saying this does not mean Taoism does not exist. On the other hand, Taoism has always been developing, contributing to educating the worldview for each individual, always reminding oneself to be a good person, not letting the illusion of active involvement drag intent. History has proven that. There are many examples of non-action conduct whose names are remembered forever. Buddhism often says, "You do not create karma, you do not have to repay karma." This sounds similar to Taoist teachings. Do not do what should not be done. Thus, in terms of non-action conduct, Buddhism and Taoism are relatively similar. The difference may only lie in the ultimate goals of the 2 doctrines. Most enlightened Buddhist masters in our country are well versed in Buddhist teachings. Before coming to Buddhist scriptures, they were all students of Confucianism and Taoism. Thanks to the 5 classics, they had a foundation in Chinese characters to study sutras and precepts. Therefore, Confucianism and Taoism greatly influenced their understanding. skillfully combining the similarities in non-action conduct. They founded many sects with a large number of followers. Like King Fan Tong, who abdicated the throne but did not aspire to be. He practiced non-action in a Buddhist style, founding the Truk Lam Zen sect passed down to this day. Moreover, Daoism also has a concept of the human mind. Appearance arises from the mind. A pure mind brings clear spirit brings bright wisdom, an impure mind leads to weakened spirit, an unclear spirit leads to unclear wisdom. The core is similar to Buddhism's concept that everything is created by the mind. All are governed by this mind, creating good or evil karma. It corresponds to the karma that being has created, good or evil, manifesting as a clear spirit and bright wisdom. It can be said that the two views on the mind in these two philosophies are similar, which is a point of commonality. He advised, knowing others is wisdom, knowing oneself is enlightenment, meaning knowing others is only wisdom. But knowing oneself is true enlightenment. Thus, he emphasized conquering oneself more than conquering others. Be content with what you have. Known contentment, why is it enough? Known leisure, why is it leisure? Meaning known enough is enough, and it is always sufficient. Known leisure is leisure, and it is always leisurely. A fundamental characteristic of Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, non-action, is frugality. The sage does not waste effort or talent in showing off. On the contrary, always frugal in all situations, to nourish and cultivate, even when displaying talent. Fullness and abundance come from long-term frugal efforts, leading to victory. Buddhism also advises people to be content with what they have. Not wasteful, but knowing how to preserve merit for the future. Creating merit is very difficult, so one must know how to keep. Otherwise, when merit runs out, one will surely fall into degradation. With comprehensive and dialectical views on the concept of Wu Wei, non-action, let us continue with the deepest lessons from Lao Tzu, which may become the destination of your life. The first lesson: look within yourself, and you will find everything you need. Lao Tzu said, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." This means, understanding others is wisdom, understanding oneself is clarity. Defeating others is strength, defeating oneself is true might. A successful person must understand themselves and conquer themselves. According to Chinese philosophy, Yin and Yang symbolize the two poles in the Bagua, representing the harmony between opposites such as light-dark, black-white, male-female. Thus, all things in nature exist with two opposing sides, harmonizing, complementing, and depending on each other. Material life often leads us to focus on earning money, rather than listening to our inner voice. But from a Taoist perspective, these actions belong to the Yang pole, external manifestations. And we need balance between the two extremes. Therefore, the Tao Te Ching encourages us to spend time cultivating the yin pole, the inner self. The advice is you can start with meditation. To balance yourself, listen to your body, and find energy for breakthroughs. The second lesson: if you truly want to understand yourself, do not label yourself. If you can define yourself, you will not be able to know who you truly are. What you tell yourself daily shapes your consciousness, direction, thoughts, and actions. Not labeling yourself, or letting others label you, helps you freely explore and experience more. You will not be confined to a comfort zone, but can freely venture into new horizons. The third lesson: kindness and empathy always triumph. The river dragon nurtures all things along its path without demanding recognition. Similarly, giving kindness without calculation helps us receive more than expected. Empathy is the ability to harmonize with others' emotions, and kindness also stems from it. When practicing empathy, you learn to listen to your inner self and understand yourself better. Kind words build trust. Kind words create confidence. Kindness in thought creates greatness. Kindness in giving creates love. Being deeply loved gives you added strength. Loving someone deeply gives you added courage. Thank you for watching the video. Wishing you a peaceful evening.